We are back in the black hole of real estate, and I want to talk about insurance today because we're coming into hurricane season, and insurance is going to make a big difference whether or not there's big storms this year. This is your host, Ron Wysakarski, and hey, we're talking insurance today, and it gets really interesting because for the last few years have been massive increases to insurance policies, and it's about to change. And the word we're hearing from the street is that a number of insurance companies, a growing number, are going to hold the line on insurance rates this year. So that's welcome news to the industry, to homeowners, to those thinking of buying or selling. This is good news across the board. And even better, there are companies that are reducing rates. Now, it's not every company, but there's a definite trend where keeping the insurance cost the same or even going down is starting to happen. And we've been waiting for this and hoping for this. This is a good thing. Now, I don't know they're going to retrace the rates to where they were a few years ago. Inflation's put everything higher in the cost factor in life. So to see anything going down, well, that's newsworthy. So I'm excited to let you know that the cost of insurance is likely to be the same or less if you already own a property. That could build in some cost savings for you, could increase your ROI if these are investment properties, or it might make it a little easier to qualify based on rent projections or something that you might be doing on an investment property side. So again, good news across the board. Now, what's driving this? Well, the increases that have taken place for the last few years have stabilized things. I mean, there are massive losses from hurricanes in Florida, and there's other things across the country, floods, absolutely wildfires. There's a lot of loss out there. It's not just the state of Florida that's affected because national companies have to insure nationally, so it's not just the Florida area and the floods and the hurricanes. It's other areas. Carolina's got wrecked. California, a lot of damage out there. Hawaii a few years ago, volcanic eruptions. I can go on and on and on. But what I can say is now that things are stabilizing, that's good news. Now, we're on the precipice of yet another hurricane season, and there's talks it's going to be a very active season. And it remains to be seen if it's going to be landfall on the east coast of Florida off the ocean or the Gulf area, which, for the last few years, the Gulf area seems to have taken the brunt of it. I can tell you in the Daytona Beach area, we absolutely had a doozy for Hurricane Milton, and that was probably the most intense one that I've experienced in my 21 years in Florida. And I remember '04 with, Charlie. Francis was Irene. I mean, there's a whole bunch that came through in 2004. Had me really just scratching my head, like, what did I get myself into when I moved to Florida? Because there was 3 in a year, and they're all, in my opinion, really big ones. So we've had Ian, and more recently, Milton, have really affected our area. Along with that, I think a lot of good things have taken place where certain areas, especially locally, in the Daytona Beach area, they're working on the storm drains and the way that the water moves away to reduce the flooding or get the water to go away much faster. So there's been improvements through these disasters. A lot of properties have been reinforced. They have additional protection. A lot more homes have new roofs on them, which is going to help. Even the trees are such a big thing. The weak trees, the weak branches, the ones that are aging and dying, a lot of those have gone away in the past few years because of the storms. So we're probably in a better position to absorb a storm than we were a few years ago. Now, no one wants to go through that, and we're certainly not advocating bring it on, because we're not. These are disasters. Lives are in jeopardy when it happens, and people's homes, they can get damaged or destroyed, so no one's rooting for that. But along the side of insurance, these are all things that are reducing the risk to the insurance companies. There has been improvement through the disaster. And now that these policies premiums have put some of the capital back in the coffers of the insurance companies. Don't get me started on how much money they make, but let's just say if you want to be insured, someone's got to pay up when the time comes, and they've had to. More and more that now that the companies that are still remaining are doing better financially and have better reserves, they're able to put some better policies out there. So it's a really good step, for everybody, whether you like insurance companies or not. And if you think they make too much money, you're not alone in that thought process. But unless you start your own insurance company or want to self-insure and just not have insurance, that's what you're up against. The best you can do is shop for the best rate and policy type based on the limits you would want to have on the policy and the deductibles. I mean, that's pretty standard for the insurance industry. Shopping can help you as well to get a better price. And if you're not married to one insurance company and want to check it every year, that might find you savings. There's not necessarily a frequent flyer program and extra points and miles if you use the same insurance company every year. So if it makes sense to shop it every year and you can find cost savings and get a similar product for better money, I mean, that's a smart business. So I would encourage anybody that wants to go through that process to do it as often as you think makes sense. Citizens Insurance in Florida, it's been able to help many properties that otherwise might not get insured. And there's still properties from the 1940s, 50s, and 60s still kicking around. We've sold some 100-year-old properties recently, and to think that a stick-built home, 100 years old, is still viable, it's pretty cool. And to know that there's insurance, even better. And I think it will help out the market where people can get insurance first, and second, also have it be relatively affordable. This will help a lot of people buy homes that they might otherwise have to pass on simply because they either couldn't get the insurance or the numbers just didn't work if it was an investment property or a second home. So that, again, really good news. The wind mitigation reports that are available and the 4-point inspection reports that you can purchase, those tend to help you get the insurance policy rated. So if you're a little marginal, and as far as the age of the property, the type of property, a great 4-point inspection and a great wind mitigation report could help you get a policy in the first place, but also make it affordable. So again, those two things that just keep coming back there. Is it available and is it affordable? There's a strong system in place right now where you can investigate those things. If you're looking to purchase a property, you're able to go to the FEMA maps and type in the address and see if it's in a flood zone and if you need to purchase that insurance or not. If you're financing and it's in a flood zone, you're probably going to be forced to pay for the flood insurance as well as the liability insurance, or you just may not get insurance. It's better than it's been in the last few years. It's really, really good news, and there's a ray of hope out there, so to speak. What if we had a milder season and rates continue to stay flat or even go down in insurance for the next year? That might really help. And when you combine it with the possibility of lower interest rates as we get through the end of the year, there could be some really big cost savings for homeowners on their monthly payment, because if the insurance goes down, that would most properties have their insurance tied into the mortgage, and that would make the monthly payment go down. And if the rates go down, whether you refinance or maybe you're on some sort of a variable, that could also make it go down. There could be some really big wins for homeowners to be able to stay in their home and just have a lower monthly payment or put the rest towards principal to pay it down faster. So I like those options. I like the fact that insurance is getting, it's taming itself a little bit more than it has in the past few years, and that's why I'm excited to bring that news to you today. So insurance, it doesn't have to be a bad word, and today it's a pretty good word because things are trending in a favorable direction for most homeowners and home buyers and investors. If you got some questions about property insurance, let me know. We can connect you with the right people. If you're enjoying these episodes, please subscribe. Definitely drop us a like or love, and give us a comment below to let us know what you think about this show and what we can do next. This is your host, Ron Wysakarski, for the Black Hole of Real Estate.